Hi everyone, well after much hurrying I'm here. This is the Melbourne Museum. I think the entrance is down there. Look at this spectacular building, exhibition building. It's been a big exhibition here, looks very Victorian, doesn't it? Isn't Victorian era, but what's the Victorian state? Yeah, it's been really rushed this morning, but I'm here on time. So we're going up to look at this Norfolk Island Kaka, which will be very exciting. Alright, so here we go.
It doesn't have any.
Okay, so here we are. This is the specimen that they have, brought out by Karen Roberts, the collections manager for vertebrate zoology. Wow, okay. This is brilliant. Alright, so if we put it on a bench, so we have a good look. And have a look at this. Oh my goodness. This is just breathtaking. Man. A lot of non-Australian species I noticed, Karen. That's interesting. Wow. Okay, everyone, so here is the specimen. Now, comparing it to the one in the Australian Museum, this is in much, much better condition. The beak has kind of been lacquered or something, which is pretty funny, as of the feet. But, you know, if it's helped with preservation, that's all right. But overall, it's in very, very good condition. And there is some debate over coloration, how much orange, how much yellow, and also bill length. And although we have a long bill here, it's not excessively long. It doesn't look like an unnatural growth coming down from there. Some of the pictures from the 1800s show them with much longer bills, and I suspect that that's from birds that were kept in captivity and not looked after properly, and the bills haven't been worn down through correct use. Yeah, so you can see all the colours have faded. Look at that lovely kind of orangey in there. But what really intrigues me is this. Look at that. Why do we have a green feather there? That's really interesting. That you know, I even wondered maybe another feather's been stuck in there, or if it's part of the colouring of the bird as they come into maturity. I don't really know. That's quite interesting, that. And they had little kind of tips down the bottoms of their tails there, tail feathers. So the museum has had this since 1863. That's when it came into their possession. It was purchased from a collector in Sydney for £10, which would have been a large amount of money then. He said he'd been looking for one of these for a long, long time. It was too costly for the Australian Museum to purchase, and so it was bought down here by the Museums Victoria. Probably just called the Melbourne Museum then, I'm not quite sure. And here it's been ever since. The Australian Museum used to have two, and they've only got one now. And I just wonder if there's any relationship between this and that. We'll never know, I guess. But it's a really good specimen, I think. Yeah, it's just great. And seeing it in person is wonderful. A lot of the information on exactly where they were acquired is lost. So if this bird came from Sydney, was it someone's pet? Was it a already mounted specimen or skin at that stage? You know, the notes just say Norfolk and Phillip Island. So, you know, there's some conjecture if there's much difference between the birds from Norfolk and Phillip Island. Again, that's something that might never be resolved, since we don't know exactly which birds came from which island. But given the close proximity of the islands, birds would have flown easily across them, so you know, the gene pool would have thoroughly mixed, I think. It's more to do, I think, with how they're kept in captivity and the misinformation around them. You know, or the lack of information. But anyway, what a beautiful bird. And it's funny, you know, because I've got my pet galah, I can just picture what birds you know, what they're like up close, and I can just picture this thing alive, looking around, intrigued, hauling itself up with the beak. Yeah. So anyway, lovely specimen, very sad story. And we're going to have a look at just some of the other specimens here, just make sure none of the kakas are misidentified. And look at this fella behind us. World's heaviest parrot, the kakapo. Little splendid fairy wren and an eastern yellow robin, which my yard is full of. But anyway, here we go. Okay guys, well, I hope you enjoyed that. Yeah, so, you know, it's a slow motion process. I want to write a book on these, and eventually I'd like to get a Churchill Fellowship and go over to the museums in Europe where all the other specimens are. I only became aware of this one just a few years ago. Originally I thought there was only one in Australia, so it's great that there's a second one. So yeah, and the museum's doing a great job preserving it here. Okay. Okay, so we're just looking at skins now, and it's a good idea, I think, just to check the other kakas and Nestors, Kias as well, just to make sure there's none that are misidentified. These are all bigger, and you can see the reddish colour. But this one says Norfolk Island, but we haven't got it out yet. But did you want to grab it, Karen? But see the red on the belly, there's probably a good indicator it's not. It's definitely smaller, isn't it?
Yeah, it would have been. It's not in our database.
Oops.
As a Norfolk Island.
Yeah, well, I think that reddish colour's a pretty good indicator it's not. So what does that, what a mark?
Oh no, maybe this is NI is North Island.
Oh yeah,
That
yeah,
makes
that'll
more
be it. Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
Oh, false alarm, darn it. But it's interesting when you look at this, all these birds that aren't Australian, but you know, the collecting was a huge thing in the Victorian period, and kind of having the set. When I was looking over it, the cockatoos and everything, it's like the complete set, which is a very big prerogative. Yeah, okay, great. So we'll just have a look at the Kias up here as well. So these are the mountainous ones that cause all the damage on the cars, pulling windscreen wipers off and things like that. Yeah. And these are one of the few parrots that are known to actually eat meat. They'll attack sheep up in the highlands and have a bit of a bite and a feed. Wow. And these are larger again, aren't they? Look at that. The damage there. Okay, well that's great. Thanks so much for that.
Okay.
Put that back in. Okay, another thing quickly. Karen's been good enough to show me the H.L. White egg collection, which has come to the Melbourne Museum, and we spent a bit of time looking for the parrots. Here are some paradise parrot eggs here. Now, that's a mulga parrot. Some of these names have changed. But that hasn't changed. Mallee ringneck, or Australian ringneck. But the amazing thing here is this is so valuable to us now, but then you think there's 5 little paradise parrots that never hatched out because of this. And this kind of collecting did play a role in extinction. But, I mean, just imagine how many eggs there are in all of this. Has anyone actually counted how many eggs?
Oh, I mean, we've got sort of numbers on clutches based on the database. So, but yeah, it's quite a bit.
There'd be quite a few thousand.
Yeah.
There? Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you for that.
That's okay.
Wow. Well, there you go. How special was that? It just breaks your heart seeing all of that stuff, because you just wish it was still around. But we're so lucky for institutions like the museum here and other ones preserving what's left. And, you know, the whole argument about genetic engineering, we were talking about that, looking at the thylacine specimens, and, you know, for things that aren't meant to be extinct, I can definitely see the point in it, but obviously the number one priority has got to be preserving what we still have and valuing it. I'm so glad that we understand nature in a different way now to what they used to back in the Victorian period. It's not an endless resource. It's not something we can improve or change or edit or fix by introducing foreign species. It's something that's got to be valued and supported in its own right. And yeah, it's really special seeing all those things there. So hope you enjoyed that. And thanks to Karen for showing me around in the museum. It's been really good. That's it.